Alright, what's good, y'all? It's Infinitus, aka Joe Cosby, and I'm here live. We're doing What's the T? So, truth, energy, and authenticity. So, today I'm just going to sit here with y'all. Got a special guest here, but the way I want to set this up, you guys won't be able to see them, you guys will just be able to hear them. It's intentional, so just enjoy the conversation, see where it takes us. So, basically, special guest here. I just want to ask you, kind of help the youth and just anyone watching this video. One thing I'm kind of passionate about is, mental health and things of that nature, and just staying healthy in general. But in this exact conversation, I want to be focusing on the mental side of things because although the mind, body, and soul are connected, I do want to just focus on the mental. And at this moment, you're actually playing a game, which kind of goes with the concept of my YouTube, which is called Game Time. So my YouTube actually is called Game Time. And it stands for the G stands for gaming, the A stands for athletics, M stands for music, and then E stands for energy, and then it also has a double entendre, which is showing my creative side of things, which is genuine, authentic, memorable engagement, which is I feel like something in this digital space when it comes to content creating. There's people that are doing it, but it's kind of being lost, and people are just kind of doing things to just let me make people watch this compared to like where's the genuine like connection that you're kind of making with people. So that's something I'm really doing here. So I just wanted to ask you a question of what's kind of something you do to kind of, or something you've learned through your life experience to kind of keep your mind fresh or just keep you on the good side of things.
So there are a couple of things that I actually do in regards to keeping my mind stimulated. One is music, which you have one of your acronyms. Uh,
So music in the sense of listening to it.
listening, listening. I'm not a
What does that
person.
do for you exactly?
So of course, music stimulates the brain. What music does is it calms the soul. I know people have heard that where it says that music calms the savage beast, and that's true. Yeah. When a person is, upset, stressed out, mad, usually music is one of the main focuses that brings your stress levels back down. It keeps you calm and relaxed. And I also like to read. Now, a lot of people don't read books anymore, but if I get the opportunity to read a book, I'm going straight out of book. I haven't read in a while, but I need to get back to that. So my main focus is just music for the peace of mind and books for the mental stimulation or the relaxation of the mind.
Okay, and then when it comes to the music, just to kind of make people watching this aware, because it's kind of another concept I was talking about. It's kind of like it's how you do things, Because for example, you listen to music and you're getting all that out of it. Someone else could be listening and not getting that out of it. So it's kind of the concept I went over with gaming. Like it's the intention you're putting when you're doing something. So if you could kind of just explain how that does that for you, so people can kind of understand and see that
So in the,
perspective.
so in the generation that we have now, people listen to music only for the beats. I like that beat. I like that. Oh, that beat is cool. They don't actually listen to the music, the words. So what it is a lot of times when you actually listen to music, you listen to the words, and the words resonate with what you're going through or what you've gone through or what a family or friend has gone through. So it brings you back to the realization of, how can I relax my mind? You know, uh, we use, let's just say, Joe went through, this situation, and these words were actually, something that needed to, get his mind back in tune. So now that I'm listening to them actual words, I can use the exact same thing that he went through. So it's just a focus on that. But a lot of people don't actually take music into account as far as how can I use music to, you know, better my health? How can I use music to better my mind? Because a lot of people don't realize that.
That's even possible. I think a lot of people don't even realize that you can do that with music. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Exactly.
People can
Exactly.
realize that you can actually.
You can't actually use music to actually regenerate your body, regenerate your cell, your neurons, your protons,
That's pretty
keep.
crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, but that's fact though. And it's been proven. It hasn't just been, a question of whether or not
It works just for you or something.
Yeah, it works for everybody if you actually know how to use it. So people can't just sit here and say, okay, I'm gonna listen to music and try to get out what this other cat tried to get out. No, listen to music to see what you can get out of it, not what I got out of it, and say, okay, I just got, whatever you got out of it. But certain things work for certain people at certain times, but all things can work for all people at one time if you utilize it
All things can work for all people
at the same
at the
time.
same. What do you mean by that?
So certain things work for certain people sometimes, but all things can work for all people all the time.
Could you give an example
Of,
of that?
of course. So like I said, if we you just asked me about the stimulation, the game that I was just playing. I'm playing Scrabble right now. So if I decide to play this game to calm my mind down, I've been sitting here for about an hour playing this game, and it's actually brought my stress level down because when I first got here, it was a stressful
So would,
situation.
just to kind of go more over this so people can get more of an understanding of this as well. So would you say the stress is coming from your mind kind of being everywhere, and when you play the game, it puts your focus on one thing,
Exactly.
and which is kind
So,
of like,
exactly, because I have a lot of stress factors, whether it be, my job, family, relationship, financial, you know, trying to do 5 things at one time. And if I just sit down and do this one little game,
reset.
yeah, and push all those other things up out my mind because those things are not important. But I'm gonna make this game important right now because this is what I need to actually calm my
You're
nerves.
honestly with from what you're describing and what you're describing at this moment, not only is he playing the game, but building a relationship with his mind through playing the game. So he's training his mind through the game. It sounds like you're
Exactly.
using the physical factor of the game to train your mind. Like, all right, I want you to move this way now, move this in this direction.
And that's the whole thing because your mind, it's like a lot of people say, your spirit or your soul can travel out your body. We know that that's true. That's factual because of deja vu. So if you know you see something a week from now, you'd be like, God, I remember seeing this. I remember seeing this.
Oh, I see what you're saying now about your body, your spirit,
That's because your spirit and your soul has left your body and
and
traveled.
it's not navigating reality in the same way of like space and time.
Exactly. So your mind is the same way. A lot of people don't know you can use your mind to travel. If you know how to take your focus out of negativity, put your mind into positivity, and focus on what your soul just saw a week or a month ahead of you. And then when you finally reach up to that, then you're gonna be able to put the two together. I know I can't explain it
No, I
no
get
better than
exactly
I'm
what you're saying.
explaining. So
Because
the
I've been
mind,
in a
yeah, the mind and the spirit are connected in one, but they have two different functions. So, like I said, if your soul and your spirit is gonna travel, and then it's gonna come back, and then your mind has to reprocess all that because you like, wow, I remember seeing this White House, but I never been here.
so
But
why am I seeing it? And why
yeah,
do I
why am
feel
I
this
seeing
way
it?
of seeing it?
That's because your spirit and your soul have traveled, you know. So it's a main focus on how the mind and the body are connected in one. And like I said, when you need to detoxify, your brain and your spirit, your whole body, there's certain elements that you can use to detoxify those. Like I said, I use games, music, reading, all to take my mind away from the negativity because it's so much negativity in this world to where you need to just
Dump it all out.
dump it all out, or you like a turtle. You know how the turtle can go inside its shell. The turtle can take its whole body and put it inside its shell
And just regenerate
and
it.
regenerate that, and that's exactly what you need to do.
That's so
So
crucial nowadays, and I forget such a fast-paced environment or society that we're living in. Everyone's doing, and they're not really ever doing that. Or that kind of concept is getting not as much attention as it should.
exactly. So
I think that's something I've seen Emily bring it. But
yeah, that's the whole key. The key is trying to just focus on positivity and stay away from the negative energy. Because, like I said a minute ago, there's so much negativity in this world. And if you get caught up in being in this world, that's why I'm not a real religious person. But the one thing I like about one religion, Jehovah's Witnesses, and they say we are in this world, but we are not of this world.
Okay, that's exactly.
So and I try to use that.
I can
Yeah,
see
I
that.
try to use that as much as I possibly can because
And that's some real game if you really capture what they're saying. What they're saying.
it, see, you said a key point. You have to capture what they said. In order to capture that, there's one thing you have to do. You have to listen to the words, and then you have to dissect the words.
And what is it really saying? I'm not just hearing words in my ear.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not just hearing these words, but I have to actually listen to the word. So let me sit down and listen to this. I'm not of this world.
You're not
Which,
in it.
yeah, I'm in it. So how can I, you're forced to be,
Navigate it while still understanding it.
you're forced to be in this world, but do you actually have to be?
I'm glad you actually brought that up because maybe I've been feeling, I wouldn't say weird because it's kind of like what's going on, but I think it's fully integrating that concept and then now moving to reality with that. Like, I'm in this world, but I'm not of it. So I think that's the main thing that I've been kind of going through. That's been kind of feeling like, what's going on? But now that you said that, it kind of made everything clear. I was like, now I see
And
how
that's
I
what I'm
can
saying.
navigate a certain way. Like, nothing's really getting to me, but I know I'm not of this world. I still got to be here, still want to show emotion and engagement. It's kind of like I know it's fake, but it's not fake, but I'm still experiencing it. It's like,
Exactly.
it's like kind of grasping all that and then like understanding it and then walking through it has been the process I've been going through. So I'm actually really grateful that you brought that up. And that's why I really love doing this process.
And you're doing a damn good thing because again, let's just say you talk to three people, only three people, and let's say you ask them three people the same question. Let
Hello. My bad, we were just doing an interview real quick.
Hi. So let's say you ask three people the same question. What time is it? You're gonna get three different
Yeah,
answers.
exactly.
So let's say it's 2:30. Okay. One person's gonna say it's 2:30. One person gonna say
So not quarter
it's
past two or six.
it's half it's 30 minutes to 3. Another person gonna say it's half past 2.
It's not only they're seeing it different, they're speaking it differently, how they're presenting it.
Exactly. So now you can ask one person the same question and get the same answer in different languages. There's one, like I just said, there's one question that you can ask any person and get the different answer, or that you can get the same answer from every person in the world. I'm sorry. So if you ask one person the same question in this whole world, you're gonna get the same. And I just gave you the answer to that. What time is it?
So I
Everybody's
think
gonna get.
you should be getting the same exact
You
answer.
should be getting the same exact answer, but you're always gonna get a different. You're always gonna get a different answer to that. So, like I said, it could be a quarter past 2. It could be 15 minutes after 2. It could be 2:15. You know, so it's
It made
all
me
that.
think with the weather too. Right? When you said that, you kind of gave me about the example, like ask someone what's the weather. We're both sitting in the same weather.
Yeah,
Someone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's super cold."
yeah.
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
But if we're
You
both in the same exact thing, experiencing nothing.
now you gotta realize too that everybody's not in the same mindset. So if I ask you what's the weather and you say it's really cool, and then you ask me and I say it's really cool, we might be on the same
That's how we're
echelon.
experiencing the same.
Yes, we have the same energy, we have the same vibe. But somebody else might say, "Oh man, it's cloudy. I don't really like this weather because this wind, but this heat." So you're not gonna get all the positive from everybody. A lot of people's gonna give you some negative energy, and you don't want that. But that's why you have to know who to gravitate to and who to gravitate away from.
So you are making a decision regardless.
Yeah. You gotta know when to be around somebody because of their bad negative energy, or you gotta know, you know,
When to go in your turtle shell.
exactly when to go in your turtle shell
That has
because
been something actually very useful too. And I'm glad you brought up that question because I think that'll help a lot of people watching this, realizing like, hey, at the end of the day, I could do my turtle shell. And you
exactly.
can do that anywhere. Anyone watching this can, there's someone, I feel like someone watching this is going to try to make excuse, but like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm experiencing this or not. But there's always somewhere a time, whether it's your room, you go find a tree and you go sit by it for a little bit. Or like,
That's a
it could
cold
be in
thing.
so many different ways. What about a bow tie? It's like, there's no possibility for me to be able to hold my turtle shell type of. But right now, I think that was a good conversation. We brought up some good points. Thank you for having that
I
conversation with
got
me.
you, brother,
Sharing
always.
some wise words for whoever watching this video.
I
Appreciate
hope
you guys
somebody
for
get out
watching.
of there.
Yeah, that's my main goal.
Yeah.
I noticed I talked a lot with like a lot of people. I get a lot from it. The first get some with it. And I always thought like many times like, hey, that'd be tight if I could have just shared that with the world. So that's kind of what inspired this part of my YouTube of like sitting down and talking with people. Because I've noticed I've always had that again. I'll meet someone for the first time, we start talking about it, they start telling everything about their life, they feel better. It's like a lot happens in that a lot of energy moves in that conversation, whether they get healed, they feel better, there's clarity, something happens. So how can I do that and expand it? And this is my way of doing that. So I appreciate you for helping me doing that by being a part of it. And whoever got watching this, I hope you guys got something from it. And put these in here, please, for me. And y'all know the vibes. One love, love always and always. Keep us, baby. Peace.